Hello, sister, brothers, and others.
Close. Hey, Phobos, sisters, brothers, and others. I'm Jynx.
I'm clueless.
This is Sisters of the Macabre. What was that look?
I like mine. But yours is iconic.
Well, the Phobos is what we call everybody. It
See?
stands for phobophiliac, which are people who love all things creepy, dark, spooky, scary kind of thing. So that's that's why we
I'm
call
confusing
our.
with FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh
For some
no,
reason.
PHOBOS, phobos. Yeah. So, that's what we call our fans is phobos. That's why I'm like, hey, phobos, sisters, brothers, and others. I'm Jinx, because obviously you want. I try to also be like super inclusive. So whether you identify as male or female or non-binary, you are all included. You can't leave me unattended. I will go
I'm still
overboard.
learning this, okay? I'm still learning this.
Look, if my mind is in it, which it was yesterday, but, again, was not going to make you, record over a migraine. So my mind was already in it. So I was like, you know what? There's a couple things that I don't know what this means. So let me look it up. And then I found more. And then I found more. And it went from 3 pages to 7 pages real fast. Happy Valentine's Day, Phobos,
Phobos, brother.
everybody! Today we wanted to talk about the origins of Valentine's Day. So I'm going to touch on some of the darker things because, of course. Now, a couple years ago, I wanted to know the answer to this, so I looked it up. And what I found was a bloody massacre of a Roman emperor murdering every soldier that was illegally married by St. Valentine. Now, back then, the Roman Empire believed that if a man had a wife and a family, he would be distracted. So they made it illegal for soldiers to be married.
What an asshole.
Right? However, St. Valentine took it upon himself to marry them in secret. When this was found out, every married couple was massacred, and St. Valentine was also murdered.
That don't make sense. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What?
Hang on.
What?
Hang on. Well, because they illegally got married, so they killed every fucking soldier that illegally got married. And Saint Valentine was murdered. He was killed and became a martyr, which is why I said he was martyred.
That
Your mic is off. Oh no, okay, it wasn't off. There we
I
go.
was being quiet.
Yeah, no. And all of this culminated in a huge feast, a huge celebration. And that was what I learned a couple years ago. I wasn't half as good at research as I am now. Right? I mean, you guys have listened to the shit that I pull out now. From 2021 to now, and, I learned about this probably 2021, 2022. I've gotten really good at researching.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and now this is fortunate for the people in the past, but it's unfortunate for me because I thought I had a bloody massacre, and it turns out none of that happened.
It was fake news.
It was fake news.
Ah, the bastards.
I was so mad. Now the law against soldiers having a family and being married, completely true. That is actual written record. Saint Valentine being murdered is also true. His laws ended February 14th, which is why Valentine's Day is on the 14th. However, and here's where the blood comes in, it was during a bloody ritualistic fertility rite. It's called Lupercalia, a Roman holiday that spans over 3 days, February 13th through the 15th.
Sounds like a venereal disease.
God damn.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll give it to you. It's fine. It's fine. But that's most likely why people think that there was a massacre at the time. Lupercalia is a very interesting holiday to me. And I'll get into more of it later, but it's a bloody rite. Nothing close to an actual massacre, and you guys know that I like those things. You know, I don't like that they happen, but at the same time, they make for really good content, and that's something that, as fucked up as it is, I like to learn about. So the fact that I was wrong makes me kind of upset. I'm a little bummed out that Valentine's Day is not as morbid as I thought. Now, whipping women down the street with blood-soaked leather strips is kind of morbid. But at the same time, that was a fertility rite. And again, we'll get into that more of that later. But that's also why love is so heavily incorporated with Valentine's Day. Now, there are actually 3 different Saint Valentines.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Quoi? What?
There are 3 different Saint Valentines.
You lie.
No, I'll get into them. I'll talk about all 3 of them for you.
Ah!
I did research!
You lie like Papa.
No. You can call me daddy all you want, but I am not,
There was a Stranger Things quote.
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen Stranger Things.
We gotta watch that together.
True.
Blow up her email if you want us to watch live Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh. Watch it live on like Twitch or YouTube. Oh no.
Honestly, blow her up. Blow her up. Get her fucking email and blow her up if you want it.
Yeah,
like
or
the last season.
messages. Ooh, yeah. I mean, messages on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you want to find us. I mean, if we get 25 different comments telling me to watch it, we will watch it live with you guys. Or as live as we can get.
Like a virgin, watch for the very first time.
Jesus Christ. Yeah? Yeah, so if you guys want to come watch me pop my cherry.
This is a I can't say family
This is
friendly?
not.
No.
I mean,
You know what?
it's
Fine,
all
pop
about...
off, queen. Pop off like your cherry.
God, we are chaotic tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh my god, I went from having an anxiety attack to laughing my ass off and telling people to pop my cherry. Alright, let's go.
Oi, keep your ass where it is. I haven't seen it yet. I'd like to at least admire it first before it fucking falls off. Jesus.
Back to the 3 Valentines. Early Christian records do actually mention at least 3 martyrs named Valentinus, all executed in or around Rome during the 3rd century.
Well, jeez.
Don't be yawning at my shit.
I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I'm yawning because I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain. I'm laughing so hard.
That's fair. That was a funny fucking moment. And now I have to leave it in, and that's what sucks! I said that thinking I was gonna edit it out, but then we laughed, and it was funny, so now I have to leave it in. So I'm gonna talk about all 3 of them. But the main story is with the first one that I'm gonna talk about. Valentine of Rome, or Valentine, his name was Valentinus. But I'm... with my ADHD, I'm probably going to swap between Valentine and Valentine because ADHD. So bear with me. Anyway. Valentine of Rome, the priest, died 269 CE under Claudius II. Every source I could find said that he was a Christian Presbyterian in Rome. He was arrested for ministering to Christians, refusing to sacrifice to pagan gods, and was executed on the Flaminian Way, which we will talk about later. I did the research on it. This seemed to be the one that solidified all of the Valentine events, and like I said, I'm going to get more into him, but I'm also going to talk about the other 2. So there was Valentine of Terni, the bishop. I'm pretty sure I'm saying Terni wrong. It's Terni. I don't know where this is. I did a lot of research. I didn't look up where this was. Whoops. So he also died mid 3rd century, but his tale is kind of more like a Gothic martyrdom tale. He was a bishop of Interamna, which is modern day Terni. He was famous for miraculous healings, and he was summoned to Rome to cure a nobleman's son. He was arrested for converting He was arrested for converting pagans, interrogated by the prefect Placidus, ordered to renounce Christ, and when he refused, he was decapitated at night to avoid public unrest. Some traditions actually say that his followers stole the body and carried it back to his homeland like a sacred relic heist.
Damn.
Now, again, because I touched on the other two, I'm going to talk about the third one. Because apparently there was a Valentine in Africa as well.
Someone had to bless the rains down in Africa.
Yes.
Sorry. Bad joke.
You're fine. But he was also another famous martyr. Kind of. He's only mentioned in early martyrologies, and he was killed in Roman Africa, with companions, which, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know Roman Africa was a thing. But there is no actual detailed story on what exactly happened. There's very little mention of him. Roman Africa, African Rome. It was a region of North Africa controlled by the Roman Empire from roughly the 2nd century BCE to the 7th century CE. It did not include all of Africa, only the Mediterranean Strip, which today includes the heart of Tunisia, coastal Algeria, coastal Libya, and parts of northern Morocco. The Roman world south of the Mediterranean was centered on the ruins of Carthage. Before there was Rome, it was originally dominated by the Phoenician city of Carthage. After the Punic Wars, Rome destroyed Carthage in 146 BCE, and Rome rebuilt it with Julius Caesar and Augustus rebuilding Carthage as a glittering Roman empire, and it became one of the richest provinces in the entire empire. It was known as the empire's breadbasket, which produced massive amounts of wheat, olive oil, and wine. Rome itself depended on African grain to survive. And see, I like doing things like this because there are so many new things that I had to look up because I've never heard of them before, like African Rome, Roman Africa. So I got to do research so you guys didn't have to, or maybe you already knew, and I'm just dumb. Either way, now we all know.
Look at that. Our research, it ties together. And I will explain later.
That's awesome. Also, this happened so many times because I did research and then I was like, I don't know what that means. So then I dive into that rabbit hole and I don't know what that means. So then I dive into that rabbit hole. But anyway, now, according to the core legend, Emperor Claudius II Gothicus, that's his full name, believed single men made better soldiers, as I talked about before. So allegedly, he banned marriages for young men in his army. Valentine, a Christian priest, which we already talked about, secretly married couples in defiance of the decree. He was discovered, arrested, and eventually executed on February 14th around 269 CE.
Damn.
Yeah.
Died for love. Damn.
Pretty much. Now, before his death, stories claimed he had healed the jailer's blind daughter and sent her a letter signed, quote, "From your Valentine," unquote. There's no proof that this actually happened. It kind of seemed like medieval embroidery, but it did shape the entire holiday that we know today. I mean, now we give out Valentines. So that's kind of where that came from, but medieval ages were, long after this Roman Empire. So, I mean, there was no proof of it. It looks to have started around the Middle Ages, but anyway. As I said before, there's no single historical massacre directly caused by Valentine himself, or the emperor. Instead, what we saw was the execution of Valentine, the Christian suppression of pagan rites, which, again, we've already talked about before. It happens so commonly now, it's almost a sociological cliche at this point. Again, I have nothing against Christians or even Christianity itself. I just have shit against the people that did this, and they're no longer alive anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but anyway, back to the bloody feast beneath Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. And we're going to talk about this throughout all of my research because it's just so prominent, I guess I'll say. I talked about it briefly before. I'm going to talk about it more now. And then I'm going to actually go through the steps a little bit later. Like, I will go through the entire ritual later. But priests called Luperci sacrificed goats and a dog. They skinned the animals and made thongs from the hides, and young men ran through Rome whipping women with bloody strips to promote fertility. Also, names of women were drawn in a lottery to pair couples for the year, often ending in sexual rites. Obviously, the church found this obscene, violent, and demonic, and by the late 5th century, Pope Gelasius I, I have such a hard time saying his name, abolished Lupercalia and replaced it with the feast of St. Valentine on February 14th. He called Lupercalia a profane mockery and shifted focus from erotic violence, because that's what it was, to Christian love and martyrdom. The holiday is basically a baptized ghost of a blood rite. There was no massacre, it's just long past memories of a pagan blood rite overwritten by a martyr.
I like how they're just like, oh, it's a mockery of a holiday. It's like, okay, what's it mocking then? Because there wasn't really a holiday before it. What was it a mockery of?
It was not a mockery at all. And I know, like, obviously, we both understand this, but I'm just like, it
Yeah.
wasn't a mockery at all. I think he was trying to say it's a profane mockery of love. But it's like, no. I mean, Lupercalia wasn't exactly a wholesome holiday in any way, but name anything that was fucking back then.
Honestly, no.
Exactly!
I feel like it was a bunch of wild teenagers having fun.
You would think. It kind of sounds like it, but no, this was adults doing this. Which, fine by me.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll get more into the actual, like, rite later. I wrote down all the steps and all the information I could get on it. The earliest accounts of Valentine's death do describe that he was beaten with clubs, he was stoned, and finally beheaded on the Flaminian Way. Now, the Flaminian Way is reportedly one of the most important and haunting roads of ancient Rome. Built in 220 BCE by the censor Gaius Flaminius, the Via Flaminia, or Flaminian Way, was the main highway running north out of Rome to the Adriatic Sea. It was about 200 miles or 320 kilometers long and was a military, trade, and pilgrimage artery of the empire. It would go from Rome. I'm going to butcher a lot of these names, by the way, I'm sorry. So it would go from Rome to Narni to Spoleto to Foligno and Rimini. It linked the capital to northern Italy and frontiers beyond, but it was also known as the Road of the Dead. Roman law forbade burials inside the city walls, so major roads became corridors of tombs, mausoleums, execution sites, and memorial shrines. Walking the Flaminian Way in the 3rd century, you would pass stone sarcophagi with carved faces, family crypts, monuments to soldiers, and graves of executed criminals. Case in point, St. Valentine himself, who was said to be beheaded on this road and buried in a nearby Christian cemetery, later honored with a basilica built over that spot. Now, there's more to this crypt, but I kind of want to talk about why executions happened on the road instead of inside the city, besides it being outlawed. It was kind of perfect for Roman authorities because they were highly visible, which could have very easily been seen as a warning to travelers not to fuck around and find out. Much like in any other place that would stake people's heads on pikes and, and things like that, or hanging bodies down by the pier. Obviously, it was outside of sacred city limits. It was easier for soldiers to be able to control since they were outside of the city and they had less distraction. Also, prisons and barracks were held outside the city as well. So it's actually closer and easier for them to kill them on the road rather than taking them inside the city.
Gives a whole new meaning to on the road.
Yeah.
because they're on the road.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
Frick.
Now, now, Valentine was not the only martyr killed along Rome's great roads, but we're not going to talk about them because that's not what we're here for.
Another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode. Maybe. Maybe. Depends on if people actually want to hear it. Let's get into the creepier parts of Valentine's death. Because if death wasn't bad enough, there's more.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Well, apparently, there was actually a sort of cult of bones around Valentine. Churches across Europe claimed that his skull was in Rome, his shoulder was in Dublin, vials of his blood were in Spain, and then, of course, parts of his skeleton were in both Prague and Glasgow. Some medieval texts added that Valentine was accused of practicing forbidden Christian love magic. Roman authorities feared his rites were a form of binding sorcery. Which, can I just say that that's exactly what a fucking marriage is? Like, seriously, a wedding is a ritualistic ceremony to bind two people together.
Yeah.
Just saying. Also, Lupercalia did the same fucking thing.
They would draw a woman's name and they'd only be together for a year.
Yeah, only for a year, but still, that
Yeah.
is binding. That's a binding ritual. But anyway.
Almost like a contract.
Right. Now, apparently lovers allegedly visited his tomb at night to swear oaths to him in their love, almost like a cult of the dead, but that's just speculation. Literally, people would go and try to steal his bones and try to find parts of him. Like, it was intense. By the Middle Ages, he became a patron of lovers, a patron of epileptics, because apparently epilepsy was called St. Valentine's affliction. He was also known as a protector against plague, and he was a saint invoked for secret, dangerous passion. Which, okay, whatever. I looked it up, don't worry. Because again, how the fuck is a saint of epileptics, right? And I swear I'd heard it before, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't spreading false information, because I'd try really hard not to. So apparently for centuries in medieval Europe, epilepsy wasn't called epilepsy. It was called Morbus Sancti Valentini, which translates to Saint Valentine's disease or affliction.
Why?
I'll get to it. I promise, I looked it up.
Okay.
So, this is one of the rabbit holes I went down. It was known as the falling sickness and sometimes even the demon's grip. People prayed to Saint Valentine specifically to cure seizures, and it kind of seems like an odd thing to do, praying to a saint of lovers, but the connection grew from several overlapping beliefs. First of all, you have to take the name into consideration, because Latin kind of plays a bit of a trick in the name. Valens, which I'm not saying it right, I don't know how to say it, I don't know Latin. I don't know like accents in Latin. So, Valens may have been confused with Valentine. Valentine's comes from valens, which means strong, powerful, and healthy. And medieval people assumed a saint with that name must have power over illness that stole strength. Hence, epilepsy was seen as the ultimate opposite of valens. So Valentine became a logical heavenly physician. Also in the Middle Ages, seizures were interpreted as almost possession-like. They thought it was the soul being shaken loose, spirits entering the body, punishment for secret sins, or the result of forbidden passion. So, an orgasm, I guess.
Lust. You had things done with people that you should not have had things done with.
And Valentine, already linked with dangerous love and secret unions, became the saint who could calm both unruly hearts and unruly brains. Now, this went on for a very long time, because keep in mind, he died in like mid-3rd century. But all the way out, from the 12th through the 15th century, people were traveling to Valentine relics, and we talked about that, they were kind of all over the world, for epilepsy, the same way others went for cures for the plague. Rituals included placing the sufferer's head on the saint's tomb, binding red threads around the body, the color of both love and martyr blood, drinking water mixed with dust from the shrine, which, ew, and wearing amulets stamped with Valentine's image. Now, some churches even kept iron collars called Valentine rings that were placed around the necks of epileptics during prayer. I thought this was pretty interesting, especially because a man who was remembered for romance was, for most of history, better known as a healer of broken nerves, a ward against demons, and a guardian of people who collapsed foaming in church aisles. Quite literally for 12 centuries, give or take. From the 3rd century on through the 15th century. Alright, so I'm going to touch on the plague thing really quick, if it's not obvious, because for me it wasn't. So, martyrs were seen as powerful beings against sudden death. The plague was seen as almost an invisible arrow of God. Martyrs were the people who had already faced violent death and conquered it through holiness. And their bones were thought to radiate protective power. As a beheaded martyr, he fit the profile perfectly. If he could survive spiritual torture, he could shield towns from the Black Death. All in all, Valentine's Day is still a holiday built on a beheaded corpse and a fertility blood magic from Lupercalia. It is believed that Lupercalia began in the age of Romulus and Remus. The rite centered on the cave called Lupercal, where the she-wolf nursed the twins. For those of you that don't know, and I'm only going to talk about them a little bit, I'll do a full episode on them later. Romulus and Remus were the twin founders of Rome, traditionally dated back to 753 BCE. They weren't just founders, they were symbols. Romulus was of sovereignty, law, war, and kingship, whereas Remus was of transgression and boundary breakings, and the one who must die for order to exist. The she-wolf Lupa does come into play here. The twins were washed ashore near the Lupercal cave. It is located at the base of Palatine Hill, and this is where they were suckled by Lupa, who kept them alive until they were found and raised by Faustulus, who was a shepherd, and his wife. So that's where the fertility festival kind of began. It wasn't sweet or kind or romantic. It was a ritual of purification, controlled violence, because, again, men would whip women with leather straps or thongs, sexual chaos, and appeasing spirits that prowled at winter's end. So I was able to actually find the ritual step by step, so let's get into it. First, there would be the sacrifice that the priests, known as the Luperci, who were part of a brotherhood, they would kill 2 male goats, which were symbols of raw sexuality, and 1 dog as a guardian against evil spirits. Next, the priests touched the brows of 2 young nobles with a sacrificial knife. So basically they put blood on the forehead, kind of like a Simba, like Rafiki did with...
Or Lent.
I don't know anything about that. I can't say anything.
Oh, typically it's for Easter, leading up to it. I don't know too much about it. I'll see about doing actual research on it. But while I was in, it was basically to mark the first day of Jesus's 40 days without food or water in the desert and whatnot.
Oh.
And so, like, you, in the church, you get in line, and then, like, you're given, like, the father puts his finger in the ashes that he has in a bowl.
Okay.
And then he marks your forehead with the cross.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Or is it afterwards? It's been a long while.
I don't know. I don't know.
We thought it shall be done.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that, yeah. Okay, but yeah, so he would touch the knife to the brows of 2 young nobles with the sacrificial knife that was, like, covered in blood, so they put blood on the forehead, and then they wiped it away with wool dipped in milk. Now, the boys were required to laugh as the blood was cleaned, kind of like a chilling rebirth rite, almost. Because, blood is the end, and milk, you need that from your mother to survive, kind of thing. Next, there was the whipping run. Strips were cut from goat hides, called februa, which is actually the root word of February. half-naked priests ran through Rome, and women would line up to be struck because it not only promised fertility, but it was also supposed to ease childbirth and purify sexual pollution. And then, of course, we did talk about the pairing of the lottery names of women drawn from jars. Temporary couples were formed for the year, and ancient writers actually suggested that this often involved sanctioned sexual liaisons.
Sexy.
So, legal prostitution. Yeah, legal prostitution. There was no massacre. There was a lot of bloodletting, but in a completely different way. Not to say that Lupercalia was, again, a great rite in any way. Clearly, it had its own issues, which, to be fair, which one doesn't, you know? But, yeah, that's my non-massacre. Make me sad research. Your turn.
Alright, so I went a different route. I went the route of, why the fucking symbols that we have today for Valentine's. Cupid being the number one kind of offender, but also hearts. Why the fuck is the heart shaped like that and not like the anatomical fucking heart?
Right.
That kind of seems like a what the fuck? And like going into this research, I had a bit of an idea, but I kind of come in here looking for a little bit more than what I already know or what I already have an idea of.
Right.
Cupid, the Roman god of desire. Cupid, deriving from the Latin word of cupidio, translates to desire. So, god of desire. Goes hand in hand. Yes. Yeah, he was kind of celebrated during Lupercalia.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And with the whole sanctioning of the Lupercalia being illegal and him still being a prominent figure for the holiday, it kind of merged into Valentine's in about mid 18th century, and then became tradition and concrete in the 19th centuries.
Okay.
Yeah, Cupid is not a baby.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's not a baby. Being the god of desire, it's not very sexy to look at a baby just like, hey, how's it going, mama? Don't call me mama. Not in those diapers. Don't do that. No. No.
Brings a whole fucking new meaning to mommy couple.
But yeah, no. Cupid is his own complex being as a god, and like he's not just the god of desire. He has two arrows. My research might have blended with each other because of the overlapping similarities between Eros, the Greek god of love and desire, versus Cupid, who is the Roman god of desire. But people will mix those together. I try and keep them separate in my research, but with the handling of information, some people might intertwine them together. Call me out if I mix them up.
Right.
Cupid has two sets of arrows. One that's gold-tipped, which inspires love and desire, and then the lead-tipped arrow, which inspires aversion.
Oh, so it's like I can, either make you to a couple or I can make you kind of stay the fuck away from each other.
He's also mischievous.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for him to shoot one couple with a gold-tipped arrow and the other couple with a lead-tipped. And that's how you've got stalking.
Is it the same couple and just one
Yep.
gets love and one
Yep.
gets aversion? Okay.
Yep.
Because you said one couple and then one couple, so I was like,
Okay,
two different.
one person in
Yeah.
a couple and
Sorry.
the other person in a couple. But yeah. Mischievous as fuck. And yeah, his image started changing around the Hellenistic period, which is around 323 BCE to 31 BCE. Went from a attractive young adult male to a tiny little cherub with wings and a diaper. Or with a ribbon to protect his modesty.
Yeah, I don't want to think of a baby when I am thinking of anything like that. I mean, to be fair, babies are obviously symbols of fertility. But I also don't want to think of a baby when I'm thinking about sexual desire and things like that. Like, ew, no.
Cupid was done dirty this holiday.
Yeah.
So dirty.
Well, that and another thing that you kind of have to look into, and I don't know if you actually have like info on this. So, if you do, please let me know. But cherubs were like a huge thing in Roman art and Roman anything, basically. So, I mean, the fact that he is a cherub, it makes sense. It makes me uncomfortable, but it makes sense.
And cherubs is actually kind of a Christian thing. That's a class of angels.
Yeah.
Which is baffling to me. Why they would make a cherub, which is a line of angels that are close to a godly being, and then made a god of love and desire a cherub. Why would you do that? And then made a young adult male into a baby, and therefore cementing that cherubs are babies. Why would you do that?
Yeah, especially because now that I think about it, you said this was like in 300 something BCE.
323 to 31 BCE.
So that was only like, that was less than 100 years after what I had just talked about with, well, actually, let me look in, I forget the exact date that Lupercalia was abolished. No, that's late 5th century. Which means that even before Lupercalia was outlawed, he was,
Being infantilized.
yeah,
Literally.
even before yeah, literally, even before Lupercalia, he was infantilized. What the fuck?
No, it was a long period, almost 300 years of de-aging him. It took quite a while, but when it was finally
Yeah.
done, it fucking stuck. And if there are any images of Cupid with a woman, that is either his mother, who is the goddess of love, Venus, or his lover. And I forgot what her name was in like Roman mythos or lore. I forget.
Gotta look it up.
I did the research, I promise, but they were trying to tell me it was Psyche, but that's Eros.
Hmm.
Eros and Psyche, and that's Greek. And it's just like, fuck, I had it and then I lost it.
Yeah, literally everything is saying Psyche.
Yeah, which is just like, fuck. I would rather it be his mother than his lover because I am very uncomfy with the full-grown woman being with a infantilized young man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's only Psyche.
Yeah, that which is fucking confusing as
Which, yeah,
fuck.
that doesn't make any sense because that's a Greek goddess. But from the research that I just found, Cupid is not a Roman god.
For reals?
Uh huh. He's Eros, but in Latin, Eros' name translates to Cupid.
And the truth shall set you free.
Now, this was literally a cursory glance. I would have to do a lot more on this, so we're gonna need to actually do an episode on this to really, like, dig in. But
Yes.
from literally just from my sources, Cupid was never a Roman god.
Okay. Well then. Lies and slander, all of it.
Right. Anyway, going on, moving on.
Well then, does that mean that my research was basically just about Eros? and they infantilized
Probably.
Eros and then rebranded him as Cupid.
Yeah.
Bastards!
I know you can see the face I'm making, and I'll explain it later. Not in this episode. We'll talk about it at a later date.
I I don't like the rebranding of history. That is where
I
my
don't either.
PO is coming from.
Yeah, no, I mean, we just talked about it. It's a fucking sociological cliche
Yeah.
at this point. Like Christians just took over everything.
We shall do more research. I will do better research. I was just trying to figure out just Cupid. Just Cupid. And, okay.
Yeah, apparently the only reason that he's called Cupid is because in Latin Eros is translated to Cupid. Cuz Eros is Greek.
And then Cupid is Cupidio, which is desire.
Mhm.
And it's just like, when does the lies stop?
Yeah, well no, because Eros is a god of desire.
Yeah.
So that's where his name translates into Cupid.
Yeah.
That literally makes perfect sense.
I do apologize. We'll do a follow-up episode. Scraping the slate clean.
Yeah. But it's okay. You know what? Honestly, this just shows we're human.
Yeah. I'll take my L's.
Well, and it's not even an L, it's just we had misinformation and now we're going to rectify it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my thing. I don't like to give false information.
Me neither.
Not saying that you did it on purpose or anything like that. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
I hyper focused on one task and one task only, so anything that was contradictory to what I was looking for, which was why Cupid?
Mm-hmm.
I had my blinders on, and that I should be more careful with that. I hyperfixate and I hyperfixate bad. So if it's just like, oh, Eros, no, get the fuck out of my face. Get that shit out of here. Just Cupid, just Cupid. The Psyche, no, fuck out of here.
So here's the funny thing is that, like, I'm kind of the same way. And again, I only had 3 pages of research before we started this. And then yesterday, when we were supposed to record, my mind was in it. So then I started looking deeper. And I think that might help you as well, is to kind of start, do your research, do your base research, and then give yourself another day because we have 2 weeks in between our episodes. So give yourself another day at some point, whenever, to just kind of look into everything surrounding it, not just that one subject.
I'm still new to this researching stuff, and I do
That's
apologize
okay.
for my lack of experience. Jinx will put me
That's
through my
okay,
paces.
dude. Well, I'm just trying to help. I don't know if that will help you or not.
It will help me, keeping me accountable and telling me and helping me. That is very much helpful.
Yeah. And you've seen me do it literally just now. I'm like, this has happened twice now. It happened with the episode that we recorded last week, which I'm not going to talk about because that's not out yet. Um, but I mean, I went from 2 things to like, what, 5 or 6 things. So, I mean, again, we were supposed to record last night. I went from 3 pages to fucking 7. So it helps to take a second look. Anyway, did you have anything else?
Oh yes, hearts. Hearts come from my research.
Mm-hmm.
There was a plant called Silphium, and it was kind of their miracle drug slash seasoning for any and everything. Basically, it was also a contraceptive and or aphrodisiac. And they were mostly in Serene. Only in Serene.
Okay.
These shits were hyper fucking sensitive. But according to every poet and singer of the time, Silphium was worth their weight in gold.
Jeez.
It was that revered and that regarded. But whether or not that's true, there was one emperor that agreed Yeah, Julius Caesar directly registered silphium as 1,500 pounds of laser. Or laser? What the fuck is that?
Mm. This is your research, dude. I don't know. How do you spell it? I'll look it up.
Uh, literally LASER in the Roman treasury. Anyways, continuing on. It is now extinct.
Mm.
Why is that? Uh, mis
Misuse.
mishandling of quite a bit of things. Misuse, but also mishandling. Funny enough, yeah, silphium is considered the first recorded ever extinction.
Oh wow! Found out what lesser or it's called lesser pecium. I don't know how to say it. Lesser pecium in Latin. Um, they were incredibly valuable rare resins from silphium. It was a resin of the silphium plant which grew in Cyrene, modern day Libya,
Ooh,
used as a seasoning, medicine, and perfume, and was highly prized throughout the Roman world. It was so valuable that it was valued at its weight in silver or gold. So if it was
beautiful.
1,500 pounds of lacer, that was 1,500 gold coins. Anyway, go on.
Okay. It's theorized that they are extinct from overgrazing and harvesting
Mm-hmm.
or desertification. It's when you plant the same plant in the same place for long enough that the nutrients that the plant needs in the ground dries up. And then it becomes
Oh,
a veritable desert.
gotcha. Okay.
It's also said that because of not visiting Romans,
Mm-hmm.
Roman provincial governors took over from the Greek colonists and then overfarmed and rendered the soil unable to yield the plant forevermore.
Great.
Yeah.
Don't you love when that
And
happens?
you gotta love it. This plant is overly sensitive. Somebody, I can't remember who. Wait a minute. A Theophrastus wrote in Inquiry into Plants that silphium could not be cultivated. And it is similarly sensitive to soil chemistry as huckleberries,
Not gonna lie,
which
I
is a
don't know
very
anything
finicky
about
plant.
huckleberries. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I don't know anything about it, but if they're a finicky
I
plant,
believe,
yeah.
yeah, huckleberries are they are a crossbreed plant of two different ones. I forget. I know it's blueberries for one, but it's also mixed with other berries as well, and it's a crossbreed plant
Oh, that's why it's so
that you
finicky.
can't really find in nature. It's man-made.
Gotcha. So it's like lemons.
Very fucking yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But also, yeah, this plant would only grow in one land range or native range. And this land was on the southern steppes of Serenica. Fuck my life. I don't know which one it
I mean,
is.
I know it's called Serene, so Serenica.
Yeah,
Something like
Serenica.
that.
Or modern day East Libya. It was a sizable strip of land, but with how much this plant was used, uh, not that much. It was 125 by 35 miles, or 201 by 56 kilometers. So a very small strip of land
Yeah.
by its own measure. But it was a miracle plant. It helped with cough, sore throat, fever, indigestion, aches and pains, warts, and also you would have it if you were worried about your protruding stomach.
So it was also a diuretic.
Eh, yes, no, maybe so. We'll never know now.
Right.
There are strains of plant that are theorized to be possible relatives, one of them being giant fennel.
Hmm.
And other ones are genus ferula or Thapsia gummifera. But there is one person that says that silphium might just be a high quality. How do you fucking say that? I hate the scientific names. I fucking hate it so fucking much.
What is it? What does it look like?
Uh, Asafoetida. Asafoetida. Tida? Tida? Tada?
Hold
Titty!
on. Hold on.
What did you do?
Entire
What?
bottle.
You... Cool. Well,
Asafoetida?
this...
Asafoetida? It's hard to say. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly how to say it, but I have an entire fucking bottle of it. This shit reeks. This shit smells so bad.
yeah, probably.
Is actually what it was. Is actually what it was. And okay, sorry. Go on.
It's theorized that silphium is a higher quality than that. That strain that you have right now is the lesser form
Oh, okay.
of silphium.
Well, all right. I got this for spell components.
Cool. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Sorry.
Theorized by Strabo, a Roman geographer who was decently famous at this time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the heart is the heart shape, all of this is a roundabout way, that was the shape of the fruit.
Mm.
That heart shape was the fruit. They thought that it was the seeds, but they identified it as the fruit itself. And it was so, like we said, it was so revered, so regarded, that it was on their currency.
Oh my gosh.
That shit was crack.
Apparently.
Yeah. And highly regarded. And it was a travesty to them when the plant went extinct.
Right.
Who would have thought? And who
Shouldn't have
would
let
have
the
known?
Romans take over.
It's theorized. We're
Oh,
not placing any blame on any one person or any one group of people. It's theorized.
gotcha.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either. Honestly, I think
But
it's not even just giving
yeah,
it to
continue.
the Romans. I think it's more just like they shared it. So then not only were Greeks taking from it, but Romans were taking from it too. So I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it became popular. It was almost on every piece of currency they had at the time, whether it be in the silphium's stalk form or the fruit itself.
Mm-hmm.
And just, yeah, because it was so ingrained in the system and there's still surviving currency of it, it kind of just integrated, for lack of a better word.
Fair enough.
So it's just like, yeah, stupid, but yeah. And at least we're never going to forget that plant.
Yeah, no, there's always going to be memory of it. Now it's literally everywhere.
Yeah. And now we could be mad about the fact that it was either over harvested or they didn't understand the concept of plant rotation, or somebody fucked it up for the rest of us.
Pretty much. Rude.
I would have loved to have had like a fucking miracle plant that would cure my cough, sore throat, fever, or warts. I would have loved that when I was a child, man.
Right.
Fucking sucks. Or my protruding tummy.
I know. I'm a big girl. Like I'm trying to get rid of it. It's hard.
Silphium was around from about 5 to 6 BC, and that was all that she wrote.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We apologize for any false information. We will look into it. We will do a full episode on Eros and Cupid and how that whole thing works out.
I take full responsibility for my misinformation. I am a sorry. I will do better next time.
Exactly. We're human. If you want to find us on Facebook, we are Sisters of the Macabre. We are Sisters of the Macabre, and we are also SOTM podcast page. Instagram
Blow
SOTM
up.
podcast one. Yeah, hold on, let me finish. And Sisters of the Macabre podcast at gmail.com.
Blow up anything and everything that you can in our comments. Don't actually go out and blow shit up.
Yeah. Well, Q told me to blow shit up. No, we're not telling you to actually blow shit
Ah!
up. We're telling you that if you want to see us watching Stranger Things, basically, if you want to
Anything,
hang out with us,
anything.
yeah,
25,
yeah.
25.
If you
But for now, it's Stranger Things. If
Yeah,
you want us to watch anything else,
right now it's Stranger Things. But like if you guys just want to hang out with us, we have a YouTube and a Twitch. We haven't actually posted anything on them, obviously, because I would have said something. Um, but yeah, so just apparently our number is at least 25. So yeah. Anyway, Kate thinks we love you. Bye.
bye bye.